G'day everyone, it's SDS SuperCoach providing SuperCoach content for you. I'm here to present Jump On, Jump Off round 3. And I'm with Brad from SuperCoach Pro. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. Thanks. How are you, mate?
Yeah, doing all right. The Hawks got a win for once, so I can't believe it. So we're on the same amount of wins as the Tigers.
It'll be the first time and last time that happens all season, so it should be good.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna soak it up while I can. Don't you worry about that. Anyway, let's get into Jump On, Jump Off, and we'll do our tips at the end. All right. And the score as well for the tips is 13 to me, 12 to him. He tipped Sydney instead of Melbourne. Otherwise, we've all gone the same. So we'll see if we have any other differentials. All right. So the first player is Brodie Grundy, is the number one most traded in player so far in KFC Better SuperCoach. So made sure we got that in. What do you think about Brodie Grundy, mate? Are you jumping off or no way? Jump on, jump off, yes.
Sit on the fence for this one. It depends on how much cash you got. I'm assuming it's obviously with Darcy Cameron. He's probably good enough if you don't have the cash to upgrade too much, like further up. But my problem is Max Gawn comes back in 6 weeks and he probably averages 85 once he does from there. But he does play West Coast this week against Bailey J. Williams, so we know he's going to go 130 like Sean Darcy did. But yeah, so I'm sort of sitting on the fence. It depends how much cash. I'd rather have a keeper because I think you're going to have to upgrade him and use a second trade anyway. What are your thoughts on him, Steve?
Yeah, I'm not really hot on Grundy unless you've got a lot of trades and you've got a bit to work with where you can afford to maybe swap a Darcy Cameron or Sean Darcy to Brodie Grundy, where he's going to certainly go up in price and in score for the next 4 weeks, but just prepare to trade him out because Max Gawn will affect him. Like I think the first game, I think he scored like 74 in the first game. And even as the solo ruck for the majority of the Brisbane game, he still only scored in the 70s, I think. So, yeah, no, I'm not really hot on Grundy. I prefer if you've got the cash to go straight to English or Wits. And speak of the devil, Tim English is number 2. Are you jumping on or jumping off?
Yeah, I'm hot on this one. I think I'm going to get him myself this week for Darcy Cameron. I'm going to jump on purely because, as we are speaking off air too, he's actually a viable VC and C option, unlike your Wits, who every now and then is. But English has really got the scope to go 170% last year. And if it wasn't for that concussion by Braden Pruce last year, he probably would have been still hot. So I think he's the one to get. And as we're also saying, he's probably one of those guys that you know he's going to get injured. So it's probably better to get on early rather than later on in the season when he cops all these niggles. So I'd rather jump on now at round 3 than wait any further than that and then just get all the points you've bagged up on everyone else. Ride the wave, and maybe you've got a decent R3 like Radaglia who's going to score you 30 points to cover him for a week. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna jump on. I'm being sarcastic about Radaglia, by the way. But yeah, I'd jump on English for sure.
Yeah, I'm jumping on English as well. He's just an absolute gun when up and about, but I think we have to all prepare to trade him out at some point. Maybe a straight swap to Wits, and then that's your ruck sorted out. Or if you've got both, you're laughing. So, yeah, I'm a massive jump on English. I'm with you. I'm going to probably bring him in as well, and just enjoy the ride because I think he's outscoring Wits by like 10 points every week. So, just enjoy the ride and just wait until he gets injured. But it's just too many points that I'm missing out, like not having English, not having Clayton Oliver. I feel like I'm in a pretty decent position, but it's just those 2 blokes that are killing me. So we'll get to Oliver at some point. The third one is Will Phillips. Now, he is on the bubble now. He was the sub against the Eagles, but he was on, I think, second quarter onwards for the West Coast game due to Tristan Xerri's pretty serious ankle injury. And he was a late in for, oh no, he wasn't a late in. He was named for the Hawthorn North Melbourne game, and he scored a 74. And at his price, he's a pretty popular in. So, am I jump on? I'll get to you next, Brad. Am I jump on? No. I really don't like his job security. I reckon there's a chance he gets dropped or is the sub this week against the Blues. Now with LDU potentially being back in the side, I guess likely being back in the side, and Jai Simpkin, who's served his suspension. So I think he was just a fill-in for that. And even if he is played, like, I think Carlton are going to do a decent number on North Melbourne this week. And there's probably going to be a few axings after that. And I think Will Phillips will be right in the firing line, however he goes. So, no, I'm not really hot on Will Phillips. If a certain rookie, no, he's not on here, so I'll just say it. If Harry Rouston doesn't get named, I guess I'll go Will Phillips, but I'm leaning towards Rouston at this stage. What about you, mate?
Yeah, I'm actually hot on this. So a few of the viewers will be happy that we disagree on something. But
Yeah.
I actually like his job security. I think it's better than what we actually think. I know he came on as a sub. He still scored well with limited game time when he did on that game. I think he's just sort of proved himself. We know he can score decent for a rookie as well. He's been in the system a few years. I feel like they'll actually give, Clarko will actually give him a chance now that he's seen what he can do at AFL level. So I don't feel like he'll get dropped as soon as what other people may think, but I think we'll get a more of an idea this week, especially if LDU is named and Simpkins named and he gets named, then we'll know. But we'll definitely know if he doesn't, because we know he's the 6th or 7th best midfielder there. So that will give us a pretty good idea as long as those two players play. But I'm actually a jump on, especially for a Finn Callahan type player. I don't like any other rookies that have on the bubble this week apart from Phillips if he gets named. So I'm actually a jump on for this one.
That's fair enough, mate. Yeah, probably good to not agree with everything here. So I'm not really that hot on him. You are. That's fair enough. Number 4 now, off air, you weren't particularly pleased with seeing this man. And to quote Brad from SuperCoach Pro, why do we have to talk about this bloke? And it's Liam Baker here. He's a Mad Tigers fan, but is this a point-chasing exercise? I'm obviously not advocating this pick. Is this a point-chasing exercise, Brad? I'm not jumping on at all.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a point chase. And this is a Dane Rampy call where everyone saw that 150, then he gives you an 82, then he gives you a 60. So this is exactly what Baker does. Dimmer, in terms of playing players, he's a role player. He's always said about Baker, he's a whole filling player. So wherever we're lacking in that position, he'll play every given week. So if we get Morris Rioli goes down, no shit, he's going forward because they'll want his pressure. If Short's not playing, he'll go down back. If we miss Hopper and Taranto, he'll play in the midfield. So he can play in all 3 positions bar ruck, obviously. So I don't like it because he will score massive and he'll get 32, 36 touches, have a goal and bop up. But there is games where he has a really low ceiling as well. If his ceiling was, if his low floor was like an 80, yeah, no worries. But I can't see it happening. Him and who's the other one? Rioli do take points off each other because they play very similar game styles. So once Short comes back too, I just can't see the consistency in Baker's scoring with all 3 of those sort of being your run-up and link-up players. So I don't like the pick at all. And those 5,000 coaches are going to get burnt. I just don't even see him as a top 10 defender this season. It could be wrong, but I'm definitely not jumping on for a Baker pick, mate. So, yeah, people are pretty crazy for that one, to be honest.
Yeah, it's fair enough, mate. Yeah, I'm not really advocating this pick. I don't trust the history. He's going to be a bit of a roller coaster. Yeah, nah. Jacob Van Rooyen is number 5. I would say jump on for next week, but I'm not too sure this week. Just because he's on the bubble, you never know what could happen. So it's usually a big rule of mine, unless it's like the bye rounds and you need to fill up numbers with like a player that's a rookie that's played his first game, and you need to fill up the numbers. But I think this is a bit too early. I know we're looking a bit thin in terms of upgrade options this week, but I wouldn't jump on this week. What do you think, mate?
You only bring this guy in if you've got Flanders or Bruin and you need a downgrade and you think his job security is decent. But as we were saying off air, we think his job security might be all right as long as Gawn's not in the side for a while. But like that rule is, you don't grab a player that's not in the bubble, because we have had players where they've played 1 game for the season, or then they don't come back till round 18 and you just don't make any cash generation. So unless you've got an injury in the forward line and you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel, yeah, he's a jump on, but I can't see any case where you'd actually bring him in this week. I'd wait 1 more week, and if he scores over 60, then I'd be going for it. But also wait until he's named into the next round as well. So I wouldn't be jumping on Monday after he played. So that's all I'm going to say about that pick.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Yeah, I agree with you there, mate. The next one is Cade Chandler. I would say jump on if you think, in your opinion, if you haven't got Cade Chandler, if you think he'll still make 150K from here, then I would jump on. I mean, I think a lot of people have this bloke, but Chandler is certainly a bloke that is going to make a lot of money. If you think that he's going to get to like that 356K mark as a rookie, then I reckon go for it and jump on. What do you think, Brad?
Well, I was just looking there. I was scrolling on my phone. He plays West Coast, Essendon, Richmond, North Melbourne, Suns, and Hawthorn potentially before Gawn comes back. So that's a pretty juicy fixture, and it actually makes me want to grab Clayton Oliver. Speaking of which, but yeah, I think he's got a juicy fixture, especially if he's named, which I think he will be. Obviously, he doesn't need a lot of the ball. The only thing I'm concerned about Chandler is he always gets around 60-something% time on ground, but still manages to score really well. So his TOG is definitely concerning. His job security seems to be there. They rate him pretty highly. He's banging that down the door in the VFL. I think he can actually make the extra 150K, as I was saying off air to you, actually. So I'm thinking about bringing him in, but this would be the last week to bring him in. And it's probably really, if you've got a Callahan, a Flanders, or a Bruin or something like that, that you really just need to get out of. He seems to be a decent scorer. He's got 290s, a 70 in there, and he's been in the system for a few years. So it's not like you're jumping on a first-year player here. And if he's named in the same side as Pickett as well, that will probably give you a good idea as well. So I'm probably a jump on at this price and this price only.
Yeah, agree, mate. If you're not going to get him in this week, don't worry about it. There's no point bringing him in after this week. So if you haven't got him and he's someone that you want to bring in, then you have to do it this week. Number 7 is my boy Will Day, who will probably leave at the end of the year, but whatever. I'll enjoy my. I think he'll stay, but he's out of contract this year. But Will Day, obviously chasing a big money deal at any club, and he's certainly putting in his case to get that sort of contract because he is looking sensational in the midfield for the Hawks, turning into a young star. And enough about AFL general talk. Will Day, 402,000. If anyone replaced him, if anyone went him as their yo option, you're laughing. You're in a great position. You didn't have to ruin your structure or anything to have this bloke in. So congrats to anyone that went Will Day. You're certainly in a very good position. But is he a trade in this week? Am I jumping on? I actually don't mind it. If you're not confident on like a Jordan Ridley, where it doesn't look like he's going to be a top 6 to 8, and you need about 100K. I'm going to be honest. Probably from here, Will Day could average the same to Jordan Ridley. To be honest, at this point, I'm not sure if that's a big call or not, but he just looks so comfortable in that midfield. I'd jump on if you're looking to get a bit of extra cash or whatnot. What do you think, Brad?
I don't know Hawks as much as you do, obviously. I probably wouldn't jump on personally. The only player I like from your team that I know will score consistently is probably Sicily. So for me, it's just I feel like this guy's always been injured a lot too. Has he, Steve? Do you know?
Yeah, he's been injury prone, but did have a full preseason, so I think that builds a bit more confidence into the pick.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm just still not hot because he doesn't have that season or two to back it up in past history. So you know the team better than I, and like you said, he does got a midfield role, so his ceiling's probably there. But when they do lose, then what's his scoring going to be like? And we've already seen it at the start of the season how it was. So, yeah, I think if I saw a little bit more from him, a few more tons, and we're talking by round 10, and he's got 60% of his scores over the ton, I'd probably jump on. But I'd rather wait until he goes up to 500K and grab a pod then and just see a little bit more data from him, and hopefully he doesn't do another injury. But I'm a jump off, or not even jump on, sorry. So yeah, what about Uniac for you, mate?
Yeah, good transition there. I thought you were going to ask me what do you think about Day again? Luke Davies Uniac. I am a jump on, I reckon. It's a bit of a tough one, this. But yeah, I think Luke Davies-Uniacke, of course, there's the calf concern issue. I think it sounds like he's likely going to play this week. It doesn't sound anything serious, especially if he plays this week. But yeah, I think he can be a top 10 mid this year, Luke Davies-Uniacke. He showed in the first 2 rounds, and at 557K, if you're going to get in a bloke that could be top 10 this year, I think that's a bargain if you're looking for a cheap primo there. It obviously hasn't had the price increase. Yeah, he's played 2 games, but yeah, I'll jump on if you're not satisfied with. I don't really know how you could get him in, to be honest, unless you're putting Radigalera to and you trade out Cameron or Darcy to him, but that sounds a bit radical. But yeah, I'll jump on if you can. I don't know what the avenues are though. What are your thoughts, Brad?
I'm actually jump off this bloke. He's got a calf. I feel like he won't get up this week personally. I feel like there's also a sub risk involved now, that calf. Like, what happens if he feels in the third quarter? They're not expecting to make finals. So I feel like he could be the player where they go, all right, mate, you've had your 3 quarters. Let's get on a kid now, and they can play midfield. So anyone that's done sort of a calf niggle, I've had a few in Muay Thai, and I can't shake it. Like, I can't train as hard. It took me 3 weeks to get over a calf. I know I'm not a footy player, but I feel like they're just very niggly sort of muscles. And the physios that work on them too, like, it's such a tight muscle as well. So I don't trust it, especially this early in the season. I'd rather wait, and if I have to pay $650 for him as one of my upgrades in the middle of the buy season, I'd rather do it then. But that any injury now is totally scared me off. So I won't be bringing any players that have missed a week. Like even Josh Kelly scares me. He's already missed one in round 3. So I've got to jump on for Uniacke for me, mate. How about you, mate, Clary? What do you think of Clary?
Oh, if you absolutely can, I'd jump on. Like, it's for non-owners, including ourselves, it is going to be extremely hard to get this bloke in. Like, I guess my dream would be to somehow side swap Ridley and Oliver and just make sure I have like 200K in the bank in the future. But like, it is going to be really hard. Maybe Setterfield's my ticket to him if he can get up to maybe 550 or something. We're just going to have to hope for a couple of down games because I'll tell you what, the picking Laird over Oliver has been a disaster, to be honest. And it was just, yeah, it's just so frustrating that Laird's still a fine option, but it definitely feels like we picked the wrong bloke at 700K. So it's a bit frustrating for non-owners. I'd jump on if you absolutely can. Now, don't be trading out these blokes that you shouldn't be trading out to get this bloke in. I think for non-owners, you're just going to have to hope for a bad score. And if we can nab him at 660, 670K, then we'll jump right on it if we can. Because he's not going to score this well every week. He's not going to stay at this price the whole season. It just depends when it happens. And hopefully it happens pretty soon. Yeah, I'll jump on if you can, but don't ruin your team to do. What do you think?
I'm going to be a bit controversial. I'm thinking about ruining my team to get him, and you just gave the point about a Ridley. If you've got Constable in the midfield and you can switch him back to the defense, and you got enough job security in your back line, and you can run 2 primos in the back line and then grab a Clary now while the fixture is right, I think he's actually a jump on. I know it sounds ridiculous at this price. I got scared off him purely because in the preseason, Goodwin was talking about him playing, more forward this year and down back a little bit, and that scared me off a lot. And then they said Pickett comes to the side and he'll go into the midfield as well. But I actually might ruin my side for this bloke this week. So you've actually given me a little bit of an idea. So I might see him around preview. And I think it would have to be via DPP. It couldn't be by one of your midfielders unless maybe you got an Andy Brayshaw who's stunk it up a little bit. But I can't really think of too many other primos that you would have started that you could really justify going to an Oliver. And you probably don't have the cash at this start of the season to be doing so unless you got a rookie that's been injured and you can side swapping for a little bit of cash to grab Oliver. So I'm really hot on this. I think he should actually be a lot higher on this list. He'd be way ahead of Baker. So maybe he's sitting at 4 and not 9, mate. But yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I'd love to do what you just suggested, but Constable is my DA at this stage. I don't have a defensive loop in my midfield at this point in time, which is a pain in the ass. Hopefully a couple of good rookies down back can sort us out and not Tyler Young. Anyway, all right, number 10, Jack Buckley. He's certainly flown under the radar to a lot of owners. What even is his percentage owned? 3% and 2.5% bring him in. So Jack Buckley, he's another one pretty similar to almost Cade Chandler. Are you confident enough that this bloke can get to 425,000 to bring this bloke in? Yeah, I'm a jump off. Just a bit speculative. Key defender for the Giants. Yeah, no, I think it's just a miss for owners, and you're just going to have to cop it on the chin. But I'm not sure if I'd be bringing him in. What about you, mate?
If you're going to do it, you're going to do it last week. I actually like his scoring. He has scored 390s in a row. But if you look at past history, I didn't realize he's actually 25 years old. He's 195, 90 kilos, so it's not really like you're running halfback flanker or anything like that. In 2020, he averaged 59, and in 2021, he had 15 games averaging 62. So I think this is very much like a Brandon Cox sort of issue where they get a hot start, everyone jumps on, and then he'll turn. And with players at 195, if they're not doing well, and then a player in the other position, say Himmelberg's playing forward this year or whatever, and he goes down, what happens if they try Buckley forward and then he gets a role change and he doesn't start scoring 90s anymore? So that's my biggest concern. And even in 2021, his highest score, he didn't even go the ton. So he went 91, and all his scores, if you have a look, around the 40s, 80s, here and there. But yeah, he averaged 60 that season. So for me, I mean, if you're outside the top 100K or just having a stinker start, it might be something to look at. But I think if you're in that top 50K, why risk your team for a guy that might not make 150K? So I'd rather Chandler, to be honest, by the sort of DBP and not the same position. But I'd also rather Jack Bowes, that's 2K more, that has the history of scoring and he's got the role. He can play midfield. So I just don't like bringing in a key defender. We know every year doesn't work for us. So it'd be like bringing in Stephen May. Like, you're going to get good scores from kick-ins, but Buckley doesn't even get that. So, yeah, I'm not hot on him now that he's already made 70K, mate. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's fair enough, mate. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I feel like we've been going for a while, so we'll make the most traded out players a little bit quicker. So, number 1 is Darcy Cameron, and fair enough. I don't think we need to talk about this too much. Jump on, jump off. Poor old Brad brought him in. It's so stiff. Yeah, if you've got him, jump off. If you've got the money, grab English or Wits. If not, maybe the Grundy, but I'm not big on that. What about you, Brad?
Jump off and never buy this sucker again. Honestly, I'm about to smash my podcast will end. I don't want to talk about Darcy Cameron. He's done. Yeah, definitely get rid of him, mate. He's done an MCL for 6 weeks, so he can get stuffed.
Yeah, we'll move on swiftly. I need the recording, so. All right, number 2 is Finn Callahan. Unfortunately, I have this bloke. His break-even's about a 68, 69, 70, one of those 3 numbers. He just hasn't looked the same since that shoulder stinger, according to Adam Kingsley. I reckon there's a bit more to that. He can't really move his body too much with those shoulders. Thank you for the round 1 score, but for me, he is a jump off 1,000%. What about you, mate?
Yeah, jump off. Let's move on to Warple.
Warple's an interesting one because Warple, he had some really solid scores of a 99 and 97, but now he's got a 45 in his system, and that's really going to halt his cash gen a fair bit. Now the 99s, what was it? A 97 from round 1 is out of his system now in his price cycle. So he's now going to have a 99 and a 45 in his price cycle, and it's pretty stiff for owners. I was actually going to look to try to bring him in if I was in a bit of a better position than where I am, but it just really wasn't his day. He didn't really have CBA. He didn't have too many CBAs, about 50%. Just frustrating for Warple owners. A lot of things went wrong. Kicked a goal, but other than that, didn't really have much of an impact on a game. So I'd give him one more week. I wouldn't jump off just yet. What do you think, mate?
I think you're holding this bloke. What's he going to lose? Honestly, like
What's
he's
his
he's
break even?
yeah, he's averaged around 60, as in like his price point anyway is around 60 odds anyway. So I think you just ride the wave and hope he has a good 5-6 week block in him to get to about 400 and something K. So I'd ride the wave, especially if you bought him in. What's the point of getting rid of him, wasting 2 trades this early? You got no one to really go sideways to unless you missed out on Settlefield. So I'd actually hold him, to be honest.
Yeah, same. His break even's about a 50, so he can easily get that. Just hopefully not a
Yeah.
similar score to what he did against North Melbourne. We know, well, I don't think he's a great player, but we know his scoring capabilities. So, number 4 is Sam Flanders. 2.7% of coaches are trading him out. To be honest, you probably should have gotten rid of him last week, but I can understand a lot of coaches had a lot of other issues to deal with and just hope that Flanders might have a spike game there. But yeah, he's now injured his knee. I haven't checked the Gold Coast Suns injury list, but I don't. He could even, yeah, the injury list could say that he's playing this week. I'd still be trading out this bloke. Jump off. What do you think?
Yeah, it's an off. I'm pretty sure it's an MCL, so another 6 weeks, similar to a Darcy Cameron. So yeah, definitely
Gee
jump off.
whiz.
He's doing you a favour by being injured, so that's a good way to get out of him.
Yep, absolutely. He even dropped in price. I'll tell you what. I mentioned to Brad off air, going with Darcy and Flanders over Witts and Sheasel has cost me about 2 or 3 trades and so many points and absolute disaster anyway. Number 5, Sam Doherty. Obviously, it's pretty frustrating with his score. I thought he got shanked by Champion Data there in my book. I thought he got totally underscored. I can understand the clangers and all that. I can understand the uncontested possessions, but I can understand a low ton score. I can't cop an 87. But am I trading out this bloke? You know, the history's there. I think you're just going to have to look to back him in. If we could trade out all of the underperforming premiums each week, then we won't run out with we won't have too many trades left for upgrade season. So I've got Doherty on my side. I'm keeping him. He's probably going to be my D6 for the year, and just hope his history can back itself. Yeah, I'd keep a hold of him. What about you?
Yeah, I'm holding him. He's got North Melbourne, Adelaide, St Kilda, and Eagles next 4 weeks. So I'm definitely holding him with that fixture.
Yeah, I'd hold Doherty. If is he on this list? No. If you've got like a Jordan Ridley, I much prefer that as a trade out. He's never really shown any signs long term. Never shown any signs of being a top 6 player besides that blistering first 5 games in 2021. So number 6, Campbell Chester, is actually injured for I believe 4 weeks. This is a bit of a tricky situation because he's made you $8,000. And then we know all about these West Coast injuries where if he's healthy, he probably gets a game. I'm going to say keep a hold of him because you can probably just use him as a loop for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Like if you're downgrading him, there's no good downgrade options really this week. So I'd probably just keep a hold of him and use him as a loop, to be honest, and maybe trade him out when the time comes when there's certainly a lot better rookie options this week. So I'm going to be controversial, I guess. I'd keep a hold of him for the time being. What about you?
I'd probably jump off next week. So he's not, like you said, there's no one on the bubble you really want. If Will Phillips is named in midfield, though, this week, I'd go sideways to him. But yeah, he's a jump off next week. So, yep, next one, Brayshaw. What do you think of Brayshaw, mate?
Yeah, we've got about 9.5 minutes to go, so we'll do about this pretty quickly. I'm going to be honest, I really haven't watched much of Freo this season, purely because I don't really want to watch them at this point in time. But um, if he's your ticket to Oliver, I reckon you'd do it. Do you reckon?
Yeah. Yeah, I reckon, yeah, it has to be really someone that's hot at the moment. If you ticket to Dacos, any of those guys, I'm not hot on Luke Ryan, so I won't talk about him. But if he's your key to English, Dacos, Oliver, someone in that top 10 that you can see for total overall points, yeah, go for it. But like you said, if you're going to burn sideways Primo's this early, you're going to run out of trades and your F6 might be Chandler for the year. So I probably wouldn't trade him out yet. I'd just run by him. You know what he's going to do. He just might be a really bad M8 and you may have just lost 100,000, but that's about it, really.
Yeah, I probably should have clarified more. I only mean if you can get to Clayton Oliver with Andy Brayshaw. But there's other than that, there's nothing wrong with keeping a hold of him. We do know what he did last year, and I guess he can be a M8 for the year probably. So yeah, I'd keep a hold of him unless you can get to Oliver maybe. Number 8, Rowan Marshall. I disagree with this. If you started Marshall, we know the ruck carnage. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of trading out Rowan Marshall. He's a solo ruck, full preseason. He was giving us all the big ticks in preseason. No, I wouldn't be trading out this bloke even for an English or a Wits, to be honest. So yeah, I don't really understand people trading out Rowan Marshall. I think he's still ticking all the boxes. Obviously, he's had a disappointing start, but solo ruck, full preseason in a rampaging Saints team that's absolutely flying at the minute. And we all know coming into the year with most of our premiums are going to be premiums that are playing finals likely. So, yeah, I'd keep a hold of Marshall. What do you think?
Yeah, I can see why people would trade him if it's to English. I wouldn't personally be trading him, but after watching him last week, I'm not sure if he sits down the piss anymore. So I just can't believe this bloke he got towed up by Draper. If Joe from Centre Bounce is watching, Draper is shit, and then Marshall does 78. So I get people rage trading, but if he's your worst problem in your side, you're probably flying. So it's really specific for me. English, and that's it. But you're probably running Wits as your R2 if that's the case. But it's definitely a no trade for me. I should probably clarify it at the end of my statement. Don't trade Ron Marshall. I know he had a crap game, but yeah, Nat Fife, mate. I don't think we've got to speak too much about him. What do you think, mate?
Trade. All right, Jason Horn. Yeah, jump off. Jason Horn Francis. To be honest, with the way the other premiums, the mid prices are going, yeah, for anyone that has Horn Francis, it's clear that you grabbed him after round 1. No person would have brought him in after round 2. So I'd keep a hold of him, I reckon. I'd keep Horn Francis because what's his break even? I think he's still got a bit more money. I know he's got that 45 in his system. 88. Oh, okay. I didn't really know that. I'd give him. Who have they got this week? Sydney. I'd give him one more week. I think Port are gonna certainly have a bit of a response against Sydney. I don't think they'll win, but I think Port Adelaide are under the pump a bit, and Horn Francis needs to show up a bit, and Port needs to put in a really nice performance. So no, I wouldn't be trade. I'd give Horn Francis one more week. If you don't have blokes like Setterfield and Zeeble, they're not exactly setting the house on fire in the first price rise. So I'd keep a hold of him. What do you think?
I think you're holding him until middle of the season and getting actually a fall-in primo for him and doing a sideways that way. I think you're just going to ride the wave until mid-season, upgrade him. A lot of people own him now, so it's not going to be a bad pod anyway compared to the rest of the competition. So you're definitely holding All Francis. So and definitely proves you're definitely point chasing after round 1. So that's the whole idea of these picks is you jump on, but you're not going to jump off after round 3 because you just essentially burnt 2 trades for one player. So you may as well just ride the wave and see how he goes. And if he doesn't like ice baths, that's his issue. But yeah, that's it for that section, isn't it?
Yeah, there we go. That is the that is jump on, jump off. But before we go, we've got about 5 minutes to do our tips. That should be pretty comfortable. All right. Thursday night, we've got Brisbane and Collingwood. Who are you going with?
I'm just going informed teams now. I'm sick of history, so I'm going to Pies, mate.
I'm going to disagree with you there. I'm going to go Brizzy. I think the home ground advantage helps. They're one of the best sides in the comp when they're playing at the Gabba. So I'm going to back that in.
Yep.
This should be quick. North Melbourne, Carlton.
Carlton by 100 points. Yep.
Yeah, Carlton pretty comfortably in my book. Adelaide Freo at Adelaide Oval.
I'm probably going Adelaide.
Yeah, same. I was going to go the Crows. Freo didn't really impress me, even with that West Coast win, personally. So, Richmond Dogs, can the Tigers respond this week?
Well, it's at the MCG, mate. If it was at Marvel, I'd actually tip the Dogs, but I think we actually beat them at the MCG, but I'm biased. So, yeah, Tigers for me.
No, I agree with you there. I back the Tigers in at the G more often than not. So, if it's a 50-50. So, yeah, I'm going to go the Tigers there. I'm actually going to that game. St Kilda Gold Coast at Marvel Saturday night.
Oh, St Kilda. Absolutely.
Yeah, St Kilda, they're looking like a strong side. And I think it's good when St Kilda are up and about. Sydney and Port Adelaide at the SCG.
Sydney, home ground advantage for sure.
Same. I think Sydney are a really good side once again this year. Essendon versus the Giants at Marvel Stadium.
Yeah, I'm going Essendon. I think they win them in centre clearances, so I reckon they get the ball forward and win it.
Yep, agree. I think Essendon will bounce back. I thought they were right against St Kilda, but I think St Kilda are looking like a better side. West Coast Melbourne.
Weagles at a $7 on Sportsbet. Not that I'm saying gamble, but Melbourne, obviously.
Well, on the app I'm looking at, the Eagles are $3.57 and Melbourne are $1.30. If Melbourne are $1.30, jump on. Yeah, Melbourne fairly comfortably. I think they're, along with Collingwood, along with Sydney, I think those are the three teams to beat this year. And then lastly, the Harley Reid Cup, 18th versus 17th. It is Geelong and Hawthorn. Fair to say, there's going to be a lot of issues if Geelong, if they don't win this game. Yeah, I'm going to go the Cats still.
Yeah, the same Cats. You probably want to be drunk all day Monday. Don't watch that, Steve.
Oh, yeah, good point. Well, public holiday, there's every chance I will be, but I might have to keep myself clean for the round review later for that game. So, well, thank you guys very much for watching once again with Jump On, Jump Off. It's always great to have Brad on the channel. Next week he'll be on his channel, so make sure you have a look at that. We did one last week on his channel. His title was really weird, so I'm sorry, mate, but it was. There was about 20 different words in that, but here's what it is. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Brad, for being on the channel, mate.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for stitching me up on the ending there too. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no worries, mate. Just constructive criticism, of course. All right. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.